Welcome to The Explainer. We're jumping right into a genuinely mind-bending frontier in technology today. Seriously, imagine a world where algorithms don't just sit there calculating, but they actually evolve, just like living organisms. We're talking about a reality where we aren't just stumbling upon new medicines, but designing them completely from scratch, where our absolutely most complex, logistical nightmares are solved by literally growing answers through generations of iterative improvement. Today, we're exploring this wild convergence of artificial intelligence and the core biological principles of genetics.
Okay, let's dive into this. The entire foundation of this tech rests on one incredibly powerful, really thought-provoking question. If evolution is nature's ultimate, most optimized learning engine, can we harness its mechanisms within a machine? I mean, life on Earth has spent billions of years using trial and error to adapt, survive, and thrive. What if we could take that exact same biological process and hit fast forward, applying it at digital speeds to crack the modern era's absolute toughest challenges?
So, here's our roadmap for The Explainer. First, coding life's logic, then decoding genetic algorithms. After that, we'll hit transforming medicine and biology, solving complex macro problems, and finally wrap up with the ethics of engineered life. Part 1, Coding Life's Logic, moving beyond rigid programming.
And this brilliantly illustrates the massive shift taking place in how we approach computational problem solving. We are totally moving past rigid programming. Look, traditional programming is incredibly rigid. It requires heavy manual problem solving and relies strictly on human-written, logic-based rules. Genetic AI, on the flip side, is adaptive. It thrives on iterative problem solving. Instead of a programmer frantically trying to anticipate every single variable, the solution is literally grown through generations. It's a real game changer.
So, what is genetic AI, practically speaking? It's a synthesis where the principles of biological genetics, specifically stuff like mutations, natural selection, and reproduction, are integrated directly with AI to create smarter, highly optimized models. It's crucial to get that this technology doesn't just process static data like old-school software did. It actually borrows the structural concepts of genetics to code life's own logic straight into the machine.
Section 2. Decoding genetic algorithms, the digital evolutionary loop.
Let's move to and see how this builds out practically. To solve a complex problem, which the algorithm basically treats as its environment, step 1 is to create a huge population of potential, totally random solutions. Then, in step 2, just like in biological reproduction, these solutions act like digital chromosomes. The system mutates them and combines them in a process called crossover. Step 3 brings in the fitness function. Think of this as the ultimate judge, evaluating every solution and heavily preferring the ones that perform best against the problem. Finally, in step 4, only the strongest, fittest solutions actually survive to reproduce for the next generation. You run this loop enough times, and boom, the algorithm converges on a near-perfect answer.
But here's the thing, genetic AI isn't solely about algorithms mimicking biology. It's also about AI analyzing actual physical biological genetics. The Jackson Laboratory, which is a major biomedical research institution, notes that computational approaches are critical for interpreting the vast and complex genomic data being generated, moving beyond descriptive genomics to understanding function. Advanced AI models, especially deep learning, have become absolutely essential for crunching massive datasets of DNA, RNA, and proteins to find hidden, hypercomplex relationships that human researchers could literally never spot on their own. Part 3. Transforming medicine and biology. Collapsing timelines and designing life.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how we zoom out from that microscopic computational theory and see the physical, real-world impacts in healthcare. Genetic AI is completely collapsing timelines that used to cost billions of dollars and take well over a decade. In drug discovery, instead of manually screening thousands of molecular candidates over years, AI tools like AlphaFold can virtually model protein shapes and interactions, practically instantly predicting how a drug will bind. In personalized medicine, by cross-referencing an individual's whole genome against huge clinical databases, we can meticulously tailor drug regimens and accurately predict the specific mutations driving a patient's cancer. And in synthetic biology, researchers are modeling genetic circuits to engineer incredibly useful things, like crops that brush off droughts or bacteria engineered specifically to eat plastic waste. Absolutely wild stuff. When you step back and look at those applications, a really profound paradigm shift becomes obvious. We are fundamentally moving from merely discovering treatments out there in nature to intentionally custom designing cellular solutions. It's an absolutely massive leap from just describing what's there to actionable biological engineering. Section 4. Solving complex macro problems. Expanding the evolutionary sandbox. So why stop at biology? If we can engineer better biological algorithms in the lab, couldn't we use those exact same evolutionary techniques to engineer a more optimized world outside of it? The impact here is staggering. To anchor this, a McKinsey & Company report points out that the most impactful applications are still concentrated in a few business areas, like product and service development and service operations. Evolutionary optimization techniques are becoming incredibly central to these exact business operations, mainly because the real world is, well, incredibly messy. Consider massive, multivariable logistical nightmares. In the industry, we call these combinatorial optimization problems. We're talking about optimizing airline flight paths around unpredictable weather and fuel constraints, or managing the absolute chaos of global supply chains, scheduling highly complex manufacturing floors, designing ultra-efficient power grids. Purely logic-based programs almost always fail here because there are just way too many moving parts. But the natural selection structure of genetic algorithms, they excel at this, hunting down elegant solutions. They're even being used for neural architecture search, which literally means we are using genetic algorithms to evolve and design entirely new, highly efficient AI models that human engineers hadn't even thought of yet. AI building better AI. Part 5. The ethics of engineered life. The societal weight of shaping information. Look, with immense power comes immense societal weight. As enthusiastic as we can be about this technology, we have to impartially address the human implications here. Because genetic AI actually shapes information rather than just processing it, we face some really heavy challenges. First off, what are the ethical limits of genetic modification? Just because we can engineer an organism, does it mean we always should? Second, data privacy. When we rely on analyzing whole human genomes to fuel personalized medicine, how do we fiercely protect that incredibly sensitive personal data? And third, how do governments appropriately regulate the creation of engineered life without totally stifling innovation? These are not easy questions, and they demand serious foresight. So, the crucial point is that genetic AI represents the ultimate intersection of our deepest biological knowledge and our most advanced tools of engineering. It truly offers us the profound opportunity to redesign our world, solving macro problems that previously seemed completely untouchable. But it does leave us with a massive question that we're all going to need to navigate together in the coming years. As we use these digital evolutionary loops to build a better future, how do we balance this relentless pursuit of optimization with a profound respect for the biological blueprints of life that inspired it in the first place? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. I really hope it gave you some clarity on the incredible power and potential of genetic AI.